What's up, you guys? I wanted to show you this, what I consider to be one of my favorite oceans that I've ever done. And it's on basically a black textured, look at those cells. I can't even, makes my heart happy. Anyways, it's on this black textured sand background. And I actually did two of them. This is the other one. Pardon if you hear the puppies in the background because puppies are going to puppy. Anyways, this one has more of an elongated sand situation, and I don't know, but the way I did it was I took this modeling paste, and it's very thick consistency, and I just created the waves or whatever texture you want. And then for this one, I just swooped big ridges of paste around till it gave me a little lip, and it just kept going until I liked the design. This stuff doesn't dry too incredibly fast, so it wasn't a problem to go over the whole piece. And this is how the little stripy one turned out. It has slight texture, slightly raised. You can see on this side, it's got a little bit of lips and grooves. I got really impatient and I decided to flash dry it with this heat gun. It did like shrink and crack in a couple places, but if you just let it air dry overnight, it'll be fine. I am using Stone Coat Art Coat for this piece, and I pour it in part B first and then part A, and then I use my Istoyo stand mixer to mix the resin while I do a whole bunch of other things. The only downside is sometimes you get distracted doing the other things and you forget that you have resin mixing, and it'll start to cure up on its own, because if you keep resin in a big bucket, then it's just going to play off of its own heat and conduct more heat, and it'll flash cure on you. So try to get it out of the main bucket as soon as possible. Then I spray painted the whole piece in matte while my resin was mixing all on its own. Love the hands-free life. The only thing is with these kind of mixers is that you have to make sure you scrape the edges, your stir stick and the bottom of your mixing cup, because this mixer is just not going to do it for you. It's just going to sit in the middle and mix what's there, not what's on the edge. So I let that keep mixing, and I'm adding some Deco Art adhesive. It's like sizing. Also has the bottle with the lady on it. Mona Lisa, I think. You can use any leaf sizing or foil adhesive. This is the one that I just happened to have on hand. It did come out kind of uneven and kind of splotchy, so I used a little brush to knock the big parts down, spread out the other parts, and I also hit some of the peaks of the ripples with some of the adhesive as well, and let that dry for a minute. And I got some of my gold leaf out to adhere to it. Now, I cut my sheets down into these thin strips because a lot of times I do just fine line work. And so that is what I do in order to not waste too much product, because a lot of times what doesn't stick, you just brush off and away anyways. So cutting them into strips helps me to kind of conserve a little bit and not waste quite so much. So after I have all of the gold leaf out, I take a clean, like fluffy bristle brush and press my foil into the adhesive, and then dust off the excess, which is minimal because I only have the strips of the gold leaf. Some of it, is going to get wasted no matter what you do. I then used my I cannot word today. Desktop vacuum to get the rest of the little bits of gold up. Look how clear this resin is from having the stand mixer mix it. I'm going to show you a little bit later. Hand mixing with a popsicle stick, vastly different. Anyways, even though I already scraped the sides of my cup, I'm still going to do it a little bit more because, listen, better safe than sorry. Just trust me. Mix more instead of less, because it's not going to hurt you to mix a little bit too much, but it will hurt you to mix a little bit too little. And then I'm going to separate out some clear into this cup, and then y'all. It was a Monday. Anyways, I'm going to put some resin into this other cup for the white, and then I decided to split up the bulk of the resin because I am doing 2 pieces. I wasn't sure if the other one I wanted to do in this dark turquoise as well or not, so I just separated it just in case. Anyways, this is just resin, dark turquoise. It's a little bit translucent. This is the last of what's in my jar, so kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here to get it all out, but we get it all out, not a problem. And if you haven't used a paste before, I really like working with them. They are easy to mix into your resin, and it's just better all around for me personally. You can get them in shimmery colors, you can get them in matte colors, flat colors. This titanium white from Just Resin is opaque and does not have any shimmer or shine to it. Neither does the dark turquoise. And I'm just going to set that little cup of clear aside because you never know if you're going to need it. And that little spill I did, I just kind of mushed it around to make it kind of a grease the pan situation. And now I'm going to add the clear that I had sitting aside, kind of as a barrier between my white and the dark turquoise. If you don't put this clear down, then when you start to manipulate the white over your other oceany colors, then it could mix, and then you'll have just a pastel shade of whatever it is, the color that you're using for your ocean, instead of just a white wave like I want. So I always have that thick clear there for a barrier. And now I'm just going to kind of swirl in and blend out all of the dark turquoise that I'm going to use for the kind of the deeper ocean part. You can use a stick. I'm using a stick because I'm trying to film one-handed while doing these pieces because I can't find my tripod. So that's why I'm using a stick, so I don't get my phone too sticky. So once you have everything blended out, I'm using my heat gun to pop any bubbles. These bubbles are kind of slow popping right now because I forgot how much time it takes for sizing to dry, and my resin kind of set up a little bit while I was not paying attention. So don't do that. Pay attention to how much time you're going to have between when you start mixing your resin to when you're actually going to pour it. Anyways, I put my board up on a tilt. I have the Platypus attachment. You can get these colors and this attachment from our website, artistilldeath.com. And I'm just pushing it on high heat and high airflow just until this little ripple happens. And then I'm just pushing the ripple further down the piece. You can see on the left side, those little mushroom clouds coming up. That's because the resin had set up for quite a while. It's pretty thick and it's cold, and the heat that I am now introducing to the white part is kind of clashing with the temperature of the dark turquoise part, so I'm kind of having to manipulate it a little bit more than I usually would, which means that it's mixing, which is what I didn't want initially. However, it made such a pretty color and a pretty effect that I decided to just work this resin around, mix it on purpose, and see what would happen, because I had 2 of these pieces that I could use anyways. So that's what I decided to do. So I tilted it really hard all the way back, and then I'm going to tilt it forward and let all of it run back to the foreground. This could create a wave where the white is kind of collecting, and it looks like it's going to. When you do this, be mindful that you are watching across the whole piece so you don't get that little blurb like I did on the right. I'll just wipe that off. No big deal. Perf. And so you can still see that little ripple of where the white kind of condensed on its way down. And aren't these colors stunning? I really liked the kind of glowy look that it gave, but I'm not really thrilled with what the cells look like. So I'm taking my little torch and I'm using the heat that is on the furthest from the flame, so you can't even see the area. Got a little too close there, scorched it. If you can see the smoke coming off your resin, pull back. It is not good to breathe in, and if you do that too much while your resin's hot, then you're going to end up with kind of a scabby scorch area. I already know that this is going to be kind of a wavy finish because of how late I waited to manipulate the resin. So I already know I'm going to flood coat it, so I'm not really concerned with any texture that this technique so late in the curing process is going to leave, because I'm just going to fill it in a minute anyways. I'm just trying to get some extra cells to pop up, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm just using that indirect heat to disperse the top layer, and it's going to give me some little tiny baby cells in these areas and make them just a little bit more visually interesting. So I'm just dabbing on the heat, and I'm not letting the flame that I can see touch the resin. I'm letting the flame that I can't see touch the resin. I hope that makes sense. And you can really see now the cells that are populating in the areas that we've hit it with this heat. All those up there weren't there. And then right here in the middle of the screen on those long juts of white, those weren't there. So we kind of really tapped those in. And so this is how I'm going to leave it for tonight. We'll see how it cures up. I'm sure it'll cure up beautifully. Look at those stretched cells right there. Love it so much. And I love this elongation of cells right here. It really makes me want to investigate that for a bigger piece that just focuses on that billowing and stretched white with the dark turquoise. Super love it, but I want to know what you guys think. But can't look at this too long because I have a whole nother piece with the same exact resin that is now further cured more that we got to work on. And that's this one. I didn't film it because it was the exact same process, verbatim. And because the resin had cured up a little bit more, it didn't roll and move quite like the first one did, but it still gave me some beautiful cells, as you can see, but it's kind of more of an angry, cloudier look, which is whatever, because we're going to do another layer anyways. But that's how I'm going to leave those for tonight. So this is the next day. This is the one that you didn't see me work on, how it cured up. Wait, this may be the one you did see me do. I can't remember. But no, this is the first one. You saw me do this one. This is how it cured. I think these stretch cells are really beautiful. And just those like lines of cells, I just love it. And I love the juxtaposition between the gloss and the matte. So again, today we're going to mix up some more resin, and we're going to do a second wave on this one. I think it cured beautifully. The finish is not that amazing. There is a little bit of texture, complexion issue, a little bit of waves because I did heat the piece so late in the process. You can really see it on the other one, being this one. You can really see those ripples that are because I heated it so late in the curing process. So this layer will take care of all of that and give it a beautiful complexion. Don't mind my reflection because I just woke up. So yeah. I mixed the resin just like last time, and now I'm spreading clear resin across the board, making sure I go all the way up to the edge of where the waves are, because I'm not trying to make a second wave, really. I'm just kind of adding to the existing wave. So the white I'm adding is right over the edge of the white that I added the first time that we did this wave, which was yesterday. And then I put it on a little tilt, just like last time, and I'm using the same Platypus attachment to push the waves. I'm preheating it a little bit, just a couple passes, and then I am trying to kind of catch a ripple. And so once I can see that little ripple start to move, I will keep moving to my left, and then I'll even pull back. So you can see right here that little ripple that I'm pushing. Not physically, I'm not touching it, I'm just really close to the surface. And I don't stretch my wave all the way down one side before moving on, because then everything will have run off the piece by the time I get to the other side. So I'm really pushing and with purpose in some areas. And now I'm just using the torch to open up cells in these other areas that aren't selling for me. This is just preference. You don't have to go this route. You can still push it with the heat gun, but I really want to stretch out and elongate in specific areas, and the heat gun kind of pushes too much air. I don't want to disrupt the waves that I already have. I want to just enhance them. So I'm using the indirect heat of the torch. You can see the areas where I've kind of gotten really close to the resin, because, for example, where I did this little wave, you can see that that's the area that's opening up the cells. And you can use this technique of kind of the swooping motion to enhance your wave or cells that are in your waves. But it is still tilted, so everything's still rushing to the back of the piece. And once I was done with that motion, I did not tilt it back forward. I just put it in the dust-free zone, and now I'm doing the second piece. This is the one that you guys didn't see the creation of, but it was done the same way as the first one. I'm doing it the same way. I'm adding our line of white all the way up to the surface. Nope, the edge of the white that we had last time. And I made sure that the clear met all the way up to where the white was. And now I'm pushing my wave backwards into the deep of the ocean. Just like last time, I am waiting and pushing when I catch a little bit of a wave. And then even back here, I'm trying to add a little bit more design elements to some areas. But you really want to make sure you don't add too much heat, because then you'll end up with an issue of kind of cloudy looking waves instead of waves that have that's just rugged. I don't know. Rugged's probably not the best word, but rigid, definite lined cell structure like this. If you add too much heat, it'll get a little bit cloudy. If you guys want me to do a demo on that, let me know. Leave me a comment down in the description box, and I'm happy to do a demo on that for you. And now just the areas that are a little bit too solid, I'm hitting with the indirect heat from my heat gun. My torch to open those areas up. And it's not that many on this one, but I did want to give you close-ups of what that looks like, because people ask me about this all the time, my torch and tilt method. But that's basically what it is. You also have to remember that you need to give your resin time to kind of relax. And that's when your cells really will form, is when you're done messing with it and it has time to just resin, you know? Resin's going to resin if you just give it the opportunity. So right here in particular, you can see that I'm just dabbing it with a little bit of heat, and that's going to make the top resin disperse and give you an amazing look. So that's how that looked. And this is the final cure after the last day. I think they look amazing, and I'm super, super proud of these stretch cells. I really want to investigate the stretch cell look a little bit more. Let me know what you think down in the description box. Nope, in the comment box. What you think of these cells. Do you love them as much as I do? Have you seen better? Let me know. I'm interested. So I'm going to leave these for today, and I'll check on them tomorrow when they're really, really like a rigid cure, and then I'll finish up the sides and post a picture or video of the final product. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the description box. Would you have done something different? Where would you have stopped? And what do you think of these colors together? Have you done textured stuff? I know I'm late to that game, but let me know what you think and what you've done. Be kind to one another, because you never know what someone's going through. And always remember that we do the test, so you don't have to. These pieces are available, and you can find the colors and everything we used today on our website, artisttildeath.com. But till next time, we'll see you then. Bye. I said bye.